Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are doing, yes, a preview of the 2021 NHL Draft. Alexis Lafreniere, Quentin Byfield, all those guys have signed their entry-level contracts. They are no longer prospects in that regard. They have been drafted. So now it's time to look at the future. Next year's NHL Draft, we'll be doing a preview of that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below, and let's take a look at the 2021 NHL Draft. Alright, so before we get too far into this video, just want to give a quick plug to our Patreon at Goal Line Hockey. Links will be in the description down below, guys. Make sure to check out our Instagram and Twitter handles at goalline_hockey. Links will be in the description down below, as well as throughout the video as well. Alright, so with that out of the way, the ELCs have been signed. Alexis Lafreniere, Quentin Byfield, Tim Stutzla, all those guys are getting ready to play in the NHL, or at least on their road to the NHL. But now, the next crop of youngsters are ready to get ready, well, they're getting ready now to go to the NHL. We'll be looking at some of those guys here today. So, starting off at number 10, Carson Coleman. He's a right shot defenseman playing in Brooks. He's going to be going to, he's a Canadian, and a lot of people are excited about Coleman. Now, he's projected to be one of those guys that eventually goes to university. They're projecting that he will be going to the University of Wisconsin in a couple of seasons. So, the Saskatoon native is, yes, University of Wisconsin for the 2022-2023 NHL season. A lot of excitement around Carson Coleman. He's a right shot defenseman. Those are always in demand in the NHL. And as you're going to see, spoiler alert, there's a lot of defensemen here in the top 10 for the 2021 projections. So now looking at number 9, we've got another defenseman, Carson. We're going to be looking at Carson here today. Carson Lambos. What an unbelievable name. He has to have a Lambo, right? I would assume, with a name like that. Carson Lambos. Left shot defenseman, 6'1", the Winnipeg, Manitoba native. Is a pretty solid player, and last season with the Winnipeg Ice, he put up 32 points in 57 games. In this World Hockey Championship under 17, he put up 5 points in 6 games, all of them being assists. And he is going overseas this season. He is on loan in a Finnish league, and we'll see how he does there. He's already put up an assist in his 2 games. Exciting start for Carson Lambos. This is a guy that a lot of people have a lot of excitement for. He's one of those defensemen that he's already showing the hockey IQ of a NHL level ready defenseman. And Carson Lambos is already on that road to that. And a lot of people, including myself, are excited to see what he does in the WHL this season. We know that WHL defensemen are always prioritized in the first round. We saw it this season. You know, guys like Braden Schneider going to the Rangers. I mean, I don't know what it is. It seems to be this weird situation. Bowen Byram, remember a couple years back with the Colorado Avalanche. It's just one of those weird things. The WHL is just known for bringing in really solid defensemen. Seems like those weird guys out in Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Regina. Nothing against those people. I love you guys very much in Western Canada, but they are a different breed, and they seem to be very good NHL defensemen for some reason or another. So now at number 8, we have centerman Kent Johnson. Kent Johnson is projected to be going to the University of Michigan as one of 3 top guys is projected to be going to the University of Michigan in this first round. He is one of those guys. Kent Johnson, centerman, 6'1", 170 pounds. Kent Johnson has a lot of potential. They are excited about what this kid can do. One of the defensemen, or one of the only centers in this year's top 10. He's 18 years old, North Vancouver, British Columbia native. Last season in the BCHL, he put up 101 points in 52 games with the Trail Smoke Eaters as an assistant captain. A lot of excitement around what he is going to be able to do at Michigan this season. We will be having a season in the NCAA for hockey, which is very good news, and it will allow Kent Johnson to show off his skills in North America. Now we move on to number 7 as the the big Finnish forward, who a lot of people had projected being possibly the first overall pick, has dropped down to 7, according to DraftSite.com, which I'm getting this information from. Rattu, 17 years old, 6'1", 181 pounds. He's a center, but listed as a left winger as well, because he has a left shot. Scouting report on this kid: versatile forward, has the ability to stick handle faster than some players can think, while remaining ready to share the puck. This is a very talented player that has a lot of offensive potential. He spent his seasons in Karpat, which he already has two goals in his 4 games, and he's been playing in the under 20. Had a goal in his 2 games already there. Had 21 points in 30 games last year with the Karpat under 20. A lot of excitement around Rattu. This seems to be a guy that I think we're going to have to keep an eye on. He fell a lot significantly because I think a lot of people had him before the NHL Draft for 2020. He was projected to be the first overall pick. So the Finnish guy is already starting to see a little bit of controversy. Hopefully he gets back into that top tier consideration. But Rattu is projected at number 7 at this point. So now, this kid's had a lot of hype out in the QMJHL, one of their top players, for a good reason, because he has shown the potential to be a very solid top 6 elite forward. So yes, we are looking at Montreal, Quebec native, 17-year-old Zach Lahaye. Halifax Mooseheads this season already has 11 points in his 10 games already this year. He spent last season in the Q with the Moncton Wildcats, put up 53 points in 55 games, almost a point per game. When he was 16 years old, I would say he's a pretty solid young prospect coming into this season. Zach Lahaye is one of those guys that is going to be one of the top tier forwards in this year's draft class. It reminds me a lot of Alex Galchenyuk. Now, some of you may be saying, oh, not another Galchenyuk. No, I think he has more potential than Galchenyuk, but he reminds me of that type of player. I think that's what you could be seeing here in Zach Lahaye. So now we move up into the top 5. As guys, we're going to see another forward, shockingly. So we have centerman Mason McTavish, who's playing in the OHL with the Peterborough Petes. Mason McTavish is one of those guys, once again, a lot of potential for the fact that he is a guy that people see as a top tier forward in the NHL in his future. He's 17 years old, 6'1", 196 pounds, center, listed as a left winger. He is projected to be eligible for this year's draft. He's been playing with Peterborough last season, put up 42 points in 57 games in the OHL with the Peterborough Petes. And he's one of those guys that I think people have to keep an eye on. He has a little bit of an edge because I've seen here with the Lumber Kings, which is an unbelievable name. In the CCHL, he put up 109 penalty minutes, 31 penalty minutes last season with the Petes. And he is one of those guys, he's a little bit of an agitator, not afraid to get in front. I think that's something that, kind of like Alexis Lafreniere, well, he's not a complete gritty pest player. He has the skill and he has that ability to kind of, he has that edge to his game. And I think that's really important. We see that working really well with the Kachucks. We see that working with guys like Corey Perry, who continue to be in the NHL. So I think that's a real edge for a guy like Mason McTavish. Now we look at the Swedish defenseman, the top Swedish defenseman on the board here. As we look, playing in the Frölunda of the SHL, Simon Edvinsson. Edvinsson is a very highly thought of prospect going into this draft. A left shot defenseman, 6'4", 185 pounds. A very technically skilled defenseman. Good skater and mobile. Strong in his own end, even more so in the offensive zone, according to his head coach. This season with Frölunda, he has already done pretty well with the junior 20 team. He's put up 6 points in 14 games. He'll be playing in the SHL with Frölunda this year. Last season, he put up pretty solid numbers in Allsvenskan with Frölunda, 10 points in 10 games in the playoffs, 10 points in 9 games in the regular season with the Junior 18 Elites with Frölunda. So a lot of good numbers for a defenseman. Remember this, we are talking about a defenseman here. So a very offensive-minded defenseman. I think that's going to be an edge for him going into the future. A lot of excitement for, once again, another solid defenseman over in Sweden. Expect big things from Simon Edvinsson. So now we move up to number 3. Number 3 in the draft. We move up into the top 3 as we have another defenseman, guys. And he's from the OHL, playing with the Barrie Colts. A lot of people automatically go to Aaron Ekblad with Brandt Clark. 17 years old, 6'1", right shot defenseman, 181 pounds. He's going to be playing with the Barrie Colts this season. Put up 38 points last season with the Barrie Colts. 6 points in 5 games with the World Hockey Championship under 17 with Team Canada Black. So, again, as a defenseman, he puts up 6 points in 5 games as a defenseman. The Ottawa, Ontario native, like I said, Barrie Colts, right shot defenseman, kind of a two-way defenseman at that, a bigger defenseman, automatically brings me to the thought of Aaron Ekblad, who is the former first overall pick of the Florida Panthers back in 2010, 2012. I don't remember. Every year seems to be the same at this point. At my age, time seems to be flying by. But Brandt Clark is one of those guys that I really think that is going to be a huge difference maker for a team. This is a guy that's possibly a franchise defenseman, and I think they have him at number 3 here. But I think all these guys in the top 5. This is, again, we talked about this year with the draft, but I think we're going to see the gap from like 1 to 5 is going to be very, very small. But you're not going to maybe have that top like Connor McDavid-esque player. You're going to have more 1 to 5 is going to be just straight up talent. And that's why maybe the draft lottery fans aren't going to be as upset, because this year you saw specifically it was the top 3. It was Lafreniere and then 2 and 3 and then everybody else. I think from this year it's going to be maybe 1 and 2 and then 3 to 5 is just going to be pretty much the same. And I think we're going to see that with this year's draft more so. But Brandt Clark looks like a really solid player. One of the many defensemen I've already talked about. One of the 4 defensemen. There's 5 defensemen here in the top 10 for this year's draft. Much different than last year, which we only saw 2 get drafted in Jake Sanderson and Drysdale. We're going to possibly see potentially the top 10, half of that being defensemen, right shot and left defenseman alike. So this is going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. Now, with that being out of the way, now one of these top 2 picks has to be a defenseman, right? If I already said 4 defensemen I've talked about and 5 are in the top 10, that means there's still 1 defenseman to talk about, and he's at the number 2 pick. As I will be going to now let me just say, guys, before I say his name, unbelievable hockey name. And I wouldn't be surprised if a team just drafted him because of his unbelievable name. Owen Power. Owen Power is the number 2 projected overall pick. 17 years old, 6'5", 215 pounds. Yikes, he's not going to be fun to play against. With the USHL last season in the Chicago Steel, 40 points in 45 games. A legit player. This kid's a beast. He's going to be playing in the University of Michigan alongside Brandt Clark. Not Brandt Clark. Kent Johnson. He'll be playing with Kent Johnson with the University of Michigan and the Wolverines next season in this fall. So expect to be watching that when NCAA hockey returns. This is potentially the 2nd overall pick. Owen Power, 6'5", 215 pounds. This kid is a beast. He's only 17 years old, guys. The former Mississauga, Ontario native. A lot of expectations for this kid. And he's right now, I think, because of his size and his skill, makes him maybe that little bit edge over some of these other defensemen that we've talked about. But Owen Power, with a name like that and the frame that he has, this kid's going to be thought a lot of going into next year's NHL Draft. So with that said, now we move on to the first overall pick projection for the 2021 NHL Draft. Drumroll. Dylan Gentry, playing with the Edmonton Oil Kings of the WHL, right winger, 6'2", 171 pounds. Dylan Gentry was the former first overall pick back in 2018 of the WHL. Dylan Gentry has a lot of potential in the NHL. Like I said, former first overall pick by the WHL from the Edmonton Oil Kings. Left winger, they have him as a center possibly. The former Edmonton, Alberta native. A lot of excitement around this kid. And the fact that he could play in Edmonton, not too far from his home, I think there's a lot of excitement around what this kid can do. In 2018-2019, he put up 4 points in his 8 games in his rookie season with the Oil Kings. And then this season, he put up 59 points in 58 games. Man, this kid is legit, and another superstar coming out of the Western Hockey League. He is projected to crush it this year in Edmonton, but he is currently playing with the Sherwood Park Crusaders, which he's on loan in the AJHL. Obviously, because of the year 2020, there's obviously some implications in the Canadian Hockey League. So hopefully he gets to the WHL and they start their season soon. But this kid is an absolute workhorse, and he has risen up to the point where they see him as a potential first overall pick. So guys, let me know your thoughts on the top 10 projections so far here. In the month of November, I'll probably be doing this once every month in the beginning of the month, just to keep an eye on where people have the top 10, because it's going to be changing constantly. And now that guys are starting to play again, as some of these leagues start to get going again, we're going to start to see these guys put up numbers. Once the NCAA comes back, we'll see those college players. Obviously, we've seen the OHL start to come back, but hopefully that continues as we see the WHL and the Q come back, hopefully in the very near future. So guys, let me know your thoughts on the top 10. Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.